Okay, so it's nearly Halloween, as you know, and I thought it would be a good idea to do a top 10 video. And this is my personal top 10 albums to listen to this Halloween. And I stress this is my personal top 10. Okay, and in at number 10 is an album that I think everyone should listen to, really. It is the Frankenstein Drag Queens from the Planet 13, and I've chosen their album Songs from the Recently Deceased. Now, I've chosen this album over like the Murder Dolls just simply because Frankenstein Drag Queens are better, and a lot of the Frankenstein songs featured on the Murder Dolls first album anyway, and like I said, the Drag Queens are better, so this is an album everyone should be listening to. It takes its influence from all the kind of horror and sci-fi B-movies that have ever been released. Think of all the stuff that came out in the 50s and House of the Dead and yeah, just all those kind of horror B-movies. It's a really, really fun album and you really should listen to it. And there's some great songs on there to listen to this Halloween, like I Was a Teenage Girl Scout, Welcome to the Strange, the Rocket Ship Oddity 13, I Love to Say Fuck. It's just a great album and it'd be a real shame if you didn't listen to it this Halloween. Okay, number 9 on the list is Paradise Lost, and it is their album Gothic. I love this album. I remember when I first listened to it, it absolutely blew me away. Songs like Gothic and External and Silent, I just love this album. It really is a great album and one that you should listen to this Halloween. It's very it packs a punch, and it's not like all the kind of modern shit that you'd get in like metal these days. It's got its influence in kind of traditional metal, which I like, and I just think it's a bloody awesome album, to be honest with you. So that's one to listen to this Halloween. Okay, next up at number 8 is the Sisters of Mercy, and I've chosen the album First and Last and Always. Absolutely blinding album this is. Just one of the best gothic rock albums ever, with songs like Marianne, A Rock and a Hard Place and Logic. Just all of the songs really just go to making this album such a great album to listen to, and it's definitely one you should check out this Halloween. Yeah, just awesome band, awesome album, and definitely one to listen to, so check it out. Okay, so number 7 on the list, and forgive me because I'm going to get this wrong. I always can never remember how to pronounce their name, and I do remember going on their website a very long time ago now and learning the correct pronunciation of it, but I can never remember. So it is Dimmu Borgir or Berger, I'm not sure, but yeah, that's who I'm choosing for number 7. And the album that I'm choosing is Godless Savage Garden. Now this is a great black metal album. It is one of my favourite. They've got that black metal sound that I really like. It's really raw and heavy, and yeah, it's just the way I like it really. And plus it's got one of my favourite songs on here called Metal Heart. It's also got a live version of Stormblast, but yeah, Metal Heart is one that I really like, and it just fits well into that kind of Halloween spirit, I think. Okay, so next on my list is Cradle of Filth, and let's face it, there's no way you can have a Halloween metal album special without a Cradle of Filth album. It's just not possible, is it, really, I think. Anyway, so the album I've chosen is Dusk and Her Embrace. I absolutely love this album. This is my first album that I got into Cradle of Filth. I just absolutely love the band. I think they're awesome. They've got this different way of, they've got a unique way of doing their black metal that I don't think has been done before. Yeah, other bands have tried to copy their kind of formula, but let's face it, the only people that can do it is Cradle of Filth. And yeah, Danny Filth is the driving force behind the band, and there has been a lot of changes to the lineup, but let's face it, they always produce a good album. like I said, this is my favourite. It's got some really great songs on there. My favourite, my personal favourite on there is A Gothic Romance. Just love that song. It's so atmospheric. I think all the Cradle of Filth albums are really atmospheric, but this one just kind of blows me away each time I listen to it. So yeah, check it out, guys, for this Halloween. Next up is a really favourite band of mine. It is Mortis, and the album that I'm choosing is The Smell of Rain. The reason why I'm choosing this album is because it's an absolute fucking classic, basically. That's all there is to it, really. When I heard Mortis back in the day on one of the music channels, I was so fascinated, to be honest with you. I didn't get it, but I was just so intrigued and fascinated, and I just didn't know what to think, to be honest with you. But I must have thought enough to get more, and so I went out and bought their album, and yeah, I just love Mortis now, and this is the first album that I bought, and it's just a wicked album, and I'm glad I bought it. Really good kind of industrial gothic metal band. Personal favourite songs: Smell the Witch, Monolith, You Put a Hex on Me, the whole fucking every song on the album. I think it's one of those albums where there isn't a bad song. Well, I could say that about a lot of albums, but yeah, I have to have this on the list. If you don't know, if you've never heard of Mortis, you owe it to yourself to go and check him out. So yeah, that's another one that I've chosen. Okay, as you can imagine, it's really hard to do a top 10 list and kind of narrow your choices down to get to that number one. It was a little easier for me, considering that I was trying to choose Halloween albums and keeping in mind that I'm looking for kind of all that gothic-y kind of dark kind of stuff that you would associate with Halloween. So it made it a little bit easier, but still at the same time it was really hard. But I know any top 10 list that I did of metal albums or whatever wouldn't be complete without a Fit of the Vampires album. And of course that's what this one is, and the album that I chose is my personal favourite. It is Bloody Lunatic Asylum. Oh my word, what a black metal album this is. Like I said, this album would be in any top 10 list that I did, guaranteed. Again, another album where, like I said, I could just choose every song on every album really, but personal favourites: Dances with Satan, Altar for the Black Mass. Yeah, it's just a brilliant album. It's just, I think this is just the perfect black metal album. It really is. I wouldn't change anything about it. I wouldn't change anything on it. Again, it's got that sound that I really like. It's really raw. It's the production of it is really raw as well. It's just got that sound that I like in black metal. And again, you owe it to yourself to go and check this band out. It is Fit of the Vampires, and they're really worth checking out, and it's really worth buying this album as well. Right, next up is a band that I'm sure needs no introduction. It's a band that I keep finding myself going back to, and again, I think if I was doing a top 10 list, I would really struggle to choose one of their albums, but definitely one of their albums would always be in any top 10 metal album list that I did. And of course, I had to choose one, and it is Typo Negative. And of course, the album that I chose is probably really predictable, but it is Bloody Kisses. How could I do a Halloween top 10 album without choosing this album? Seriously. I mean, come on. This album had to be in there. I just absolutely love this album. Again, this is the first album of Typo Negative that I actually got into. Everyone, I remember everyone just saying how good it was and that you had to check it out, and that if you was going to check any of their albums out, then you know it had to be this one. Of course, you got Black Number One, Christian Woman, Bloody Kisses, yeah, just Summer Breeze, just a wicked, wicked album. Okay, next up is Marilyn Manson. How could I do a top 10 Halloween list without Marilyn Manson in it? The album that I've chosen is Antichrist Superstar. Again, probably really predictable, but let's face it, it's by far one of his greatest albums. I personally like all of them, but yeah, this really has to be on the list. It is just awesome, just absolutely stunning album. If you haven't ever heard this album before, well, where have you been for like all this time? Go out and buy their album now, please. Just absolutely love this album. Again, some songs that I would choose are really struggling there. Angels with the Scabbard Wings. Oh, really hard. 1996. Oh, Beautiful People. How could I not choose that? Yeah, just awesome album. And like I said, what rock have you been hiding under if you haven't heard this album? So yeah, this definitely has to be on my list, and well-deserved place at number 2. Grabbing that number 1 spot is a band called Nile, and I've chosen their album In Their Darkened Shrines. Now, some of you might think that that's a bit of a weird album to choose, but I absolutely do not think so. Like I said, when I absolutely positively have to get my metal on and listen to the heaviest thing going on this planet, I listen to that album. They are so damn heavy. The album is just pure and utter genius, and it really fits into that Halloween spirit, I think. What I would say about the album is if ancient Egyptians played heavy metal and they got in a TARDIS and came to the future, that's exactly, their sound is exactly what they would sound like, basically. And the album is really atmospheric. It sounds like ancient Egypt. That's all I can say about it. And it really, for me, it just takes me to that other place that I'd want to go on Halloween. So that is why I've chosen it for my number 1 spot. So check it out.